Enough with the frivolity.
Yeah.
Jim, the board.
Very serious stuff. The board is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. All lines from FanDuel as of Wednesday this week. Mike detailed it. We will have updates as the week goes on. The first game, I want to play something before Saturday.
Okay.
We got away from it last week.
Okay.
I have Georgia Southern and Georgia State. And before you say anything, he's ready to go on the fan. So good. Don't they say he'll get you the sports as fast as he can? Yep. Any way that he can.
Okay, we're done.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Mike's on.
What did you say this company was called?
We're ready to go.
What's the company who did these?
I think it's Jam Creative, and I think they still might be around.
All right, I'm going to make a phone call.
Okay.
I'm getting us a jingle, unless they try to charge me like $5,000
They might.
for it.
I actually clicked on it. Like, they have some stuff, I think.
They got some pricing?
I think so.
All right, go ahead.
Not cheap. Anyway, Georgia Southern, Georgia State.
Christ.
Fun Belt clash down in the Peach State. And real quick, I have a confession. I mix these teams up sometimes. Do you ever mix the two of them up? Georgia State, Georgia Southern, they're both like GSU.
The only separator for me is anytime I say Georgia Southern, I think Adrian Peterson, not the Oklahoma one, but the welfare version that the Bears drafted. He led the country in rushing. Georgia Southern is where Paul Johnson coached. I think Georgia Southern, I think Navy Blue. I think Georgia State, I think Royal Blue.
Yes.
It's the only separator.
But how about this for the confusing part? State plays in Atlanta. Southern plays in Statesboro.
Correct.
Jared
Just think
McKinnon is Georgia Southern.
Like Georgia Southern, just triple option. Georgia State, not.
Used to be. Not the case
I know.
anymore.
I'm saying it's the only way I can separate these teams.
So I actually have a play, and I want to take the home team. I want to take the Eagles, Georgia Southern. Georgia State, 122nd in pass defense. Southern, 12th in pass offense. Georgia Southern, more battle-tested. I know you respect that. They played James Madison in Wisconsin. So I'll take the home team minus 1.5.
The issue for me is Georgia State's quarterback Granger healthy. He's the key to the whole damn deal. Now, if he's banged up, does the line indicate that he's not 100% and Georgia Southern's a slight home favorite?
Yeah, I don't know, because both these teams are in the race. So I just read the line as like, oh, close game.
Turn it on and try him. Look, I'm not betting this.
Okay.
I'm not mad at you for doing it. If you wanted a money differential, you're on the wrong side of it.
I know.
53% of tickets, 35% of bets.
Real quick. You tell me if I'm crazy about this. If it's group of 5 level stuff,
yeah,
I'm not sweating the money differential as much. Like, I got 2 MAC plays this week, 2 Mountain West plays this week. I'm playing Fun Belt.
This might be a good week to log out. Do you want the play for Thursday night?
Yeah, what is it?
Syracuse at McLean Stadium, VTech at night, enter Sandman.
Flat 3? Where's
total?
That? Oh, the total. The over?
Mm-mm.
The under?
Yep. Under looks light. 46.5. You know how we play our totals. When the total looks high, we go high. When the total looks low, we go lower. 38% of bets, 80% of the money to the under. 46.5 VTech Syracuse. If you wanted a friendship total on a Thursday night, that's got a little 24-20 written all over it.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you need your theme music to make a pick?
No.
Okay.
No. I've got my pick before Saturday. It's Georgia Southern.
Done and done. I would be a little bit of a lean on the VTech game to the under. I'm not touching Georgia State Southern because I don't know the status of Granger, the quarterback. Let's move it forward. That game's hideous, by the way.
Saturday. We begin everybody's...
No Friday. We got nothing for Florida Atlantic and the Biff Pogies. We got nothing for
I know
Maryland
your
North.
personal, Charlotte fandom is...
I don't have any fandom. I can't stand Biff Pogies.
You bring him up every other podcast.
Well, he wears a sleeveless T-shirt. How am I supposed to? How can I not?
They're terrible.
Okay.
The game's in Charlotte, right? They do have the cool logo with the pickaxe, but that's all they got going from. Yeah.
Maybe that's the sweatshirt I'll have you order. All right, keep it rolling.
He didn't forget.
No.
Saturday, we start at noon. We go chronological. We've got some top 25 showdowns. Number 4, Florida State, is at Wake Forest, noon kick.
I was shocked this game was on here. I want you to take me through this. You got FSU laying 20.5 currently, pretty much a split board on the money. We had Wake last week. We got fortunate. Their offense is horrific. FSU on the road. We've already seen them be a little bit sleepy in a couple of spots. Where are you at with this game?
Okay, Florida State is rolling right now. 21-0 run against Duke in the second half to put that game away, put it on ice easy. Killed our under, too. Since that close loss to BC, which I feel like you put a big emphasis on, that they had that close, or not close loss, excuse me, close win against BC.
It just bothered me.
That game was a classic look ahead with Clemson looming. It was a storm. It was wet and windy. Since that game, Wake has gone on to win. Since that game, FSU has gone on to win by 21 points per game, and that includes the OT game at Clemson. They are rolling right now. Wilson's back at receiver along with Keon Coleman. I think this is a big Florida State spot. It's a lean right now. You're getting the right side of the number at 20.5. And I think the other part of the cap here is Wake Forest offensive line is terrible. So this is a big Jared Verse spot. This is go get yourself some tape they're going to be playing during the draft. I think it's a big spot for FSU. Any lean?
I'd be on your side with it because it's under the key number of 21. I don't hate it.
It's not. You don't have to play it.
No, it'd be a little bit of a lean. I kind of want to see if the market develops. I'd like to see if more people get smitten with the points there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like another game at noon.
Which one?
And you're gonna mock me for it. I was looking around at something. It's the other side of that FSU coin. It's Boston College. I think this line looks way off. Now,
so what is it?
Well, if you take it by power rankings, Boston College should be laying 19 to UConn. They're laying 14 or 14.5, depending where you get it. I can tell you, I will be taking a 14. But Thomas Castellanos might be the best player no one's ever heard of. Boston College's quarterback. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the greatest passer in the world, but he does have 1,400 yards passing. He's got 10 touchdowns, 6 picks. But he's also the team's leading rusher. He's got 628 yards on the ground. He had 125 last week. He's a distinct problem.
Yep.
And this ain't your daddy's Boston College. They actually move the ball a little bit. So I'm looking at it and I go, all right, I get the best player on the field. BC actually is quietly 4-3. The Huskies are now 1-6. They're toast. They're not winning out. It's in Chestnut Hill. I'm not going to tell you that, Alumni Stadium's got this great home field advantage, but to me, UConn defensively was supposed to be all right. They're terrible by metric.
Do you know what SP Plus says?
I was going to ask you, no smarm, because I know you're a huge SP Plus guy. Talk to me.
So the numbers say this is a 16-point win for Boston College.
See, I got it at 19. But yeah, I was going to take BC.
That's fine.
Here.
You're still more than 14.5 or 14.
I wanted to take BC here and give it a spin because I kind of wonder about UConn shutting it down a little bit. So yeah, noon play BC minus the 14.
Okay.
If you take the 14.5, I think you're foolish. Shop around and go get that 14. There's several books with a 14. Yes, we're a FanDuel show. Yes, I'd love you to bet with FanDuel. I'm not going to tell you to take a worse line. Now, if FanDuel wants to operate a price guarantee with the pod, I dig it. It's like it's like Home Depot or Lowe's.
We'll match your
price. But I'm going to take the 14. I'm going to go Boston College, the Castellanos show, and lay to 14 against what I think is a deadbeat UConn team.
Let's go to two teams that I have near and dear to my heart.
Oh, this is the Cookie Bowl.
A Big 12 showdown. Oklahoma, number 6 in America, minus 10. Where's this game at?
Kansas.
At Kansas, in Lawrence. Jalen Daniels, doubtful.
Means you get Jason Bean.
He has not been as good as I feel like he was at the end of last year.
Has not. But we also, I think we got a real window. Look, with the Cincinnati game, with the UCF game. Oklahoma, there's a couple uneven performances there. And hey, look, guilty with Florida State. I do the same thing with Oklahoma. I think they're good, but I think they're a bit of a paper tiger. The question you have to ask yourself is, do I trust Lance Leipold, his offense, against a defense that, look, I love Stutzman. I love some of their players, but they are letting teams move the football. They tighten up in the red zone, and that's why they beat UCF. UCF had to kick a bunch of field
Texas.
goals. Yes. Well, and, Texas dropping interceptions. But point is, I'm going to stay on task. It would be Kansas or pass. Here's why it's not right now. You've dipped below 10. And right now, time of taping, this will be a lean. I want to see where the market goes. I cannot bet a public underdog with 80% of tickets, 90% of money. I can't do it.
So what about an alternative?
The total?
Yes.
I would blind fire an under here.
So I have the same thought. Everybody's going to
pull it
go
up.
over, right? Now,
Yeah.
get the bet differential. And
Yeah.
I know that's the danger Wednesday. This is going to shift a little bit.
Ooh, 65.5.
And where are the
25% of bets, 77% of money to the under. Yep.
under?
Under 65.5.
Play it. I'll play it.
All right, put it in.
All right. Under 65.5.
Yeah, I'll do that with you.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll do that with
Because it kind of fits everything we just talked about. Kansas, backup quarterback. Oklahoma stiffens in the red zone. Game gets bogged down, even just a little with a total that high. Even a couple punts give you so much more room.
And here's the teaching point. Truthfully, if you like the underdog in a game, you should start your cap with that you automatically like the under. Very rarely are you betting an underdog and also favor the over.
Mm-hmm.
In a spot like this, you're getting 10 points. If KU is going to stay in this game's got to be played high 20s, low 30s. They cannot be in some kind of game where it's, 48-45. Not without Daniels. I think this has got to be a 34-30 type game for them. They need to be in that mix. So 34-31, you still get home in cash. 65 is a very key number for me. All right, I'll go with it. I'll go under 65.5.
The only other noon game I had was the Penn State-Indiana game. And the spread is 31.5. So I don't know that there's a play here, but I just talked through it.
You know what that is.
What?
This is going to be a Penn State get-right spot. We're going to work on the offense. We're going to run it up. And when you pull up Penn State and you look at who they've played, okay, now, again, Jim and I both have major concerns about their offense. But when they've played bad teams, UMass, they put up 63. Northwestern, they put up the 41, albeit on a fake spike play.
Yeah.
OSU is a game they got dominated. Indiana's terrible. They're a terrible football team. There's no other way around it. They lose 31-14 to Rutgers, 52-7 to Michigan, 44-17
They've already
Maryland.
fired their OC.
Right. Now, they beat Akron because they had a 50-yard quarterback sneak, 29-27, but they were 17-point favorites in that game. They're a terrible team. Is this a game where they do everything in their power to reinstill confidence in Drew Aller, get the offense going? We already have proven James Franklin's a complete dick who loves gamblers. My lean would be Penn State. It just didn't make my card. Do I really want to sit at noon and sit down with Brisket and go, all right, got to cover 5 touchdowns?
Yeah. We had the same read, and I'll put some numbers on it. Indiana, 122nd in scoring. Only one Power 5 team is worse. They've already fired their OC. There is no more magic elixir option. They've rotated quarterbacks. None of them are any good. They're bottom 3 in the Big Ten in run offense and run defense. Just at the line of scrimmage, they're going to get bullied. And I think that's where Penn State gets right. We've talked about Aller, downfield passing. How many explosive runs have they had?
Not many at all.
This is the week to do it because Indiana's dead last in the Big Ten against the run. So I think Penn State can roll it up, can run it up. But the question is, again, do I want to lay 31? No, I don't want to.
Not really. The game that is kind of hidden on the noon card, it's just something to look out for the people. It's a game Jim and I talked about briefly. I didn't put it on my card, and I was angry I didn't. It was Kansas State against TCU, and this Avery Johnson is a problem. This new quarterback for K-State, dude, this kid's good, and he can run the rock. Major, Taysom Hill vibes, but they're splitting time between Will Howard and this Avery Johnson kid. But any angle here, we've missed the best of the number. The open for K-State hosting Houston was 16.5. It's 17.5 right now. But here's what's super interesting. Houston off that emotional, gut-wrenching, heartbreaking loss to Texas. Your reward for that is to now go on the road to one of the most difficult places to play in the Big 12 and face a K-State team that now that they have found Avery Johnson, K-State's rolling a little bit here. They are 5-2, right? Remember we all had the obituary out for KSU? Jim, they're rolling.
They're still alive in the Big 12 too.
Well, right. They destroyed UCF. They lose the bad game to Okie State on that Friday night.
It was terrible.
Last 2 weeks, they go to Lubbock and blow the doors off the Red Raiders. They come home 41-3 against TCU as a 6.5-point favorite. There's an element to this where I wonder, is the line pricing the blowout? They look at it like we do, is look at the backstory with Houston here for a minute. So they get their doors blown off by TCU, who's no good. They bomb a winless Sam Houston State, 38-7. They get housed by Texas Tech. Housed. Don't score in the second half. They beat West Virginia on a Hail Mary, emotional. Into Texas, heartbreak loss, overcoming 21-0 deficit to lose. Is this where Houston comes up empty?
I like the cap. Like they're just out of gas.
No
They're
gas
the car
left in the
puttering at the
tank.
side of the road.
And you're going to go to K-State, and K-State is going to be physical with you. We love Chris Kleiman, and Avery Johnson will probably tote the rock 12 to 15 times for 100 yards, and you're not going to stop it. Kid at 100 yards last week. Do we I hate the reading the tea leaves routine, but isn't that 17.5 trying to tell you something? They are
Blowout
begging
coming.
you to take
Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah.
And Houston, hey, we did this with Notre Dame and with Louisville and the whole
Spots.
Isn't this a K-State spot?
Sleepy noon kickoff, Manhattan, Kansas. Does Houston get up for it? Do they have anything left to get up for it? And even if they do, are they any good?
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
starring this. Here's what I want to do. No, listen to me. If I can get flat 17, it's going to be a play. We talked about this. I'm going to come in Friday and do the bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will play it at 17.5, but I want to just wait a second and let the market form a little bit more. Maybe it touches 17. But it would be a play for K-State. I think I've talked myself into K-State. No?
No, I think it's the lean for me right now. Like you said, let it cool a little bit.
So I'm just going to put this as a lean on your card.
Okay, yeah.
I just want you to have it here so when I ask you, hey, Jimmy, what do you want to do Friday? I can come in here and update the
Easier,
people appropriately.
yeah.
Lean KSU minus 17.5. Okay.
Can I give you a play before we get to 3:30?
100%.
Because there's one more game kind of tucked in, nestled in, the 1 o'clock kick, in-state rivalry, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan.
Oh, God. These are arguably the two worst teams in the MAC. They're horrible. Not Akron, but I mean, they're bad.
Not Kent State bad. The MAC's pretty bad, though.
This is a down year for the MAC.
Western -3 at Eastern.
You don't want to play a side here, do you?
I do.
What?
Western's a disaster.
Oh, my God.
They've given up the most yards and points in the MAC. They take a ton of penalties, too. Chris Creighton's won 4 straight against the Broncos. Western has been bet up to a full 3. SP Plus says EMU should win the game by 6.
Yeah, but the problem for EMU, I don't know what's wrong with Samson Evans. The kid was a star in the past. He's trash now. They got no quarterback play.
Yep.
They can't score.
Yep, they're terrible. They're Iowa in the MAC.
But you're going to take the home dog?
They play defense. The other team doesn't offer any resistance.
All right,
I'm
listen.
getting points, home dog.
You can do whatever you like. I think this is absolutely irresponsible by you. I want to say that. This is not just a bad play. This is an irresponsible play.
Okay, noted. I'm playing the Eagles.
Don't need to be smarmy. Just trying to help you. Jim, on a card like this, how do you find your way to that game?
It was one of the first ones I found.
You need help. Okay, let's move it on.
3:30 window, big game this week. Oregon, Utah. Oregon, number 8 in the country, -6.5 at number 13, Utah. Fox has the game.
I know. I'm a big Oregon guy, but I can't take you laying a touchdown at Rice-Eccles. I think Utah might be rounding into form here. And this Bryson Barnes kid, the pig farmer quarterback, look, Utah at home is a different beast.
You want the stat?
Yeah, give it.
18 straight at home, 29-30.
Of what?
Wins.
What about against the number?
I don't have it against the number.
All right. Well, here's the
They're
deal.
just dogs in this, though. I mean, if you win outright, you cover the number.
Right now, as we sit here on Wednesday, Earth is on Oregon. This would be Utah or pass for me.
Do you find it
really would.
suspicious that the way I do?
6.5?
Yeah, that if everybody's betting it, but the book won't let it get to 7.
No, because they know.
Utah becomes an auto play.
I think you'd end up with professional groups using algorithm or using computer programs. The minute a 7 hits, they'll buy it right back down
this
to
is as
6.5.
comfortable as they feel setting the line to stop Utah bettors from betting
Yeah.
it. We don't have to stop, though.
But here's my thing. There's part of me with this, and I go, okay, Utah goes to LA and beats USC in a crazy game. Oregon is the best team by far. Like right now, I think Oregon's at least 10 points better than USC. This is not typical Oregon. Oregon is not afraid of being physical. They're not afraid of being balanced. They're not flash and dash. Is Utah really going to be able to hold in where the more they play this back up, the more that you get exposed? They got
It's
a
fear.
strong safety at running back. It's a lean to Utah,
Same.
but there's a world where I look at this and I go, you know what? As much as you want to bet a live home dog, if I really believe Oregon's one of the 4 or 5 best teams in America, you should be a touchdown better than Utah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it right now. I get where you're going with it, though.
No, I'm not playing it either, but I had the lean Utah because I figured street fight kind of game. I want points. I want the home side. I don't think Oregon's going in and blowing out Utah. As much as I think of Oregon, do you think like double-digit road win for the Ducks is in order here?
No, it's why I'm not doing it.
Right.
Because it violates my code. But this is super fishy. It's super creepy. If this were at night, there'd be no consideration of
Right.
Oregon. There's only one spread really in America that confuses me more than this, and we're going to get to it later.
The next game,
super confusing to me.
is it what window is it in? Late night? Night heavy?
Yeah, night
Okay.
heavy.
Okay.